Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Carla Nicole. Happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday. So I posted on my story that I was going to be talking about the next self-care act that we can do to improve our life. Like I said, a lot of times you can say to yourself that I'm loving myself. I'm loving myself. And yet I don't think we have a clear understanding of what loving oneself means. So you know that I have a product line called Solo. Shine on loving oneself. And so I want to keep it very light this evening, but I want to give you guys something, just another act that you can use right now, actually, that you can use to make sure that you are loving yourself. You know, it's easy to say we're loving ourselves and tell others to love themselves, and yes, we're loving ourselves, but a lot of times we're just self-caring for. And what that means is we're taking care of what we like about loving ourselves, which means we want to make sure we look nice. We want to definitely make sure we feel good, right? Looking nice and feeling good are two of the most number one things people focus on when they say, I'm self-loving. So what does that mean? A lot of times we say, well, I'm self-loving because I'm taking care of myself. No, that's not self-loving. That's self-care. There's a difference, okay? So just because you say to yourself that I'm loving myself by, going to the spa or going out to eat or doing something you like to do, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're loving yourself, okay? So this is take 6. I don't know if you guys have watched all of the other takes of self-love, but go back. You can scroll through and see my other acts of self-love because they are very, very important and intricate. We can't say we're loving ourselves, but we're really lacking certain things to show ourselves that we are loving ourselves. That's really important. It's really important. Okay? So I want us to now think about being in pursuit of contentment. I want you to let that kind of simmer in your soul for a minute. Being in pursuit of contentment. Not of happiness, not of pleasure, not of something outside of yourself, but contentment. Do you even know, have you ever had a moment, a true moment in your life where you were truly content? I mean content without anyone else in it, without anything else in it, without any pet or anything outside of yourself. Have you ever had a moment of just pure and total contentment for being on the planet? For being you. Just for being you. Have you ever had that feeling of contentment? And see, sometimes I think, a lot of times when you use the word contentment, people can see contentment meaning that contentment is just settling or getting comfortable. But contentment doesn't mean just to be comfortable. Because when you're comfortable, that's when you get stagnant, right? We get stagnant when we're comfortable. Do we not? I mean, as long as we're feeling comfortable and everything is going according to plan, right? We're doing everything and coloring in our lines of life, right? We're doing everything right. And then unpredictability shows up. Things happen. Seasons change. And then all of a sudden we feel like, oh my God, my contentment just went out of the window. Then you weren't content. That wasn't contentment. That was joy for something outside of you that you truly thought you were contented with. Okay? So I want you to think about this because this is very important. Pay attention and write notes if you want to. Listen, there's a total difference of having a total joy in just being you. And when you are just being you and feel fulfilled, you don't know what that means until you actually experience it. So I can't tell you how to feel contentment in you without having contentment in me. So this is why I'm able to convey to you these different self-love acts, because I had to do it. I had to see outside of being a mom, being a wife, did all of this, been a wife, been a mom, you know what I'm saying? I'm a daughter. I'm all these roles, right? I'm an employee, okay? I'm a co-worker, I'm an acquaintance, I'm a best friend. I'm all these different roles. But when I really settle down into being excited about being who I am, it changed the game, see? Because no matter what shifts in my life, okay? And I went through some shit, okay? I went through some shit. I went through some stuff. I went through some hell. I went through some high water. All of that. I've went through all of that stuff. But you see, I'm still standing. I'm still happy, fulfilled, still okay. But it takes many, 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 many years to get here. So I want you guys to think about something. A lot of times when we get, and I'll put us parents up on game. A lot of times when we have kids when they're young, we're like, our kids are our focus, right? Our kids are our life. Our kids are what we do, we take care of, we focus on, we do everything we can in our power to make sure our kids have everything we didn't, right? So we focus on that. We focus on making sure our kids are where they need to be in school, and are you getting A's? And if not, why not? You know, so we do everything as a parent, right? In our power. But Lord have mercy. And I know a lot of people are feeling this right now. When you become an empty nester, and those babies you spent, tireless hours, tireless time for, are on their own. And you are now no longer primary, because now they have a love life. Now they have now they're parents or whatever. They have new priorities in their life. Now you're secondary, right? And that's fine, because that's what it's supposed to be. This is the life cycle we don't talk about. But, you know, once we become parents and then grandparents and then great-grandparents, you know, we cycle out. But as a parent, it's very hard and difficult, especially if you didn't prepare, for your babies to walk out of that door and say, I love you, Mom, but I'm going on into my own version of myself. I love you, though. I care about you, but you're going to hear from me every now and then, Mom. I'm busy. I got this going on. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Okay, look, don't worry about your mama, because mama's cool. You know what I'm saying? But it took a while. But I remember I had one of the best words of advice when my daughter was about 15. I had somebody tell me, don't go to everything. Start pulling out now. Because that baby girl of yours is going to end up getting grown. And your whole life that you got revolving around your daughter is going to shift. She's going to be on her own. I said, oh, excuse me? Oh, okay. Message taken. And so I love my daughter, but I love my daughter to a different degree now. I love her to be herself, to be independent of me. Not because I love her less, no less, because that's not true. I love her differently now. I allow her to be her. I allow her to be herself. I allow her to be in her greatness, in her significance. I allow her to make her mistakes. You hear me? Make your mistakes, baby girl. I love you. Make your mistakes. I get it. But what I want my daughter to do is I'm constantly on her about making sure you're independent of your mama. Because mom won't always be here forever. And man, mom is busy. You know, I got a lot of stuff going on. I'm doing my thing. So I need you to be independent of me. I love you, but I need you to do this for you. I need you to bump your head and make mistakes so you can grow, right? So I say that to say this. Contentment has nothing to do with who's in your life. I don't care if it's pets. I don't care if it's friends. I don't care if it's family. I don't care if it's spouses or whatever. lovers, you can't base your life around outside people or places or things to make you feel fulfilled. Because those things can change and shift in a blink of an eye. You can be married today, divorced tomorrow. It's that quick. You can be a mama today and shift to a grandmama the next day. Trust me, I'm telling you. And be like, well, oh, okay. This is new. You feel me? So we have to constantly be prepared to be fulfilled inside us first. See, a lot of times I think we have a lot of things out of balance. Even when we guide our kids, even when we've been guided to be focused on what? Getting your education first, right? Then getting your marriage, then getting your children. In that order, preferably. Matter of fact, it was demanded amongst my generation. You are not to have children until you get married and all this other stuff. Okay. But that didn't save us from pain. That didn't save us from people not getting divorced. That didn't save us from not being single mamas or single fathers or having these different circumstances happening anyway, even when we did everything in order, right? So when you don't have contentment of yourself, of you, guess what happens? Things happen. People leave you. Things shut down. People pass on and transition. All kinds of stuff happens, and then we're like, damn, what am I supposed to do now? I've lost myself. I don't know how many times I have heard people tell themselves that they lost themselves in a relationship, or they lost themselves being a parent, or they lost themselves in the role of who they are. I've seen a lot of people in my age group that are my age and that have lost themselves being a caretaker of an elder parent because they feel dedicated and responsible for taking care of that parent, that they'll just devote their whole life and will remove themselves from living. And what I mean by living, you will see them totally lose themselves in the care of that parent, that they lose their sexy, they lose their thrive for life, they lose their desire to be out here and learning about themselves. They lose all of that. And why? Because they're so dedicated to that role they're in that they lose themselves. That is the most deadening act you can do to your self-love. You have got to learn the importance of sitting back and saying, okay, what about me makes my whole being just radiate? What about me that makes me radiate? Because really, if you think about it, when you start taking the time out to really look at you and really see you for who you are, and you start sitting back and saying, oh, man, I'm a pretty powerful whatever it is. I'm pretty powerful at XYZ. And when I'm doing it, I am unstoppable. People can't stop me. I'm just on fire, right? Because I tell us all the time we're a flame, right? We're a flame. So when we're a burning flame inside, right, we just can't stop moving. Hey, Angela, we can't stop moving. We can't stop growing. We can't stop thriving. For why? Because we want to be what we are. See, self-love is easy to say we have, but harder to attain. Because it's easy for us, because we have been taught and conditioned from very young to care for other people. Remember when we're little, we're told to share our stuff, right? We have to be nice and play nice, right? Aren't we taught that? We're taught this at very young ages. Tell me if I'm wrong. We're told we are to share and we are to be nice. So as we age, we still think that way. We are to share. So sharing, a lot of times we omit ourselves and we dedicate our devoted self to our kids, to our family, to our spouses, to everyone else, and we sacrifice self. But that's not the way we're supposed to be doing in this adult life. See, because when we start to sacrifice self, what happens is we start to lose self. We start to feel less important. We start to begin to get minuscule and smaller, to the point where we're so busy pleasing other people, we're losing what we're here to do. I tell all of my people that I work with, and all of them are on here. I know my regulars are here because they know, but my regulars will tell you, when I first start talking to them and advising them, I tell them, hey, you got to awaken you first. I can't do anything for you until you awaken yourself. You got to wake up. You got to really wake yourself up and really pay attention to what is it I need to do? What am I here to do? What's my reason for being on the planet? A lot of times we're walking around in the days and not realizing we have a reason to be here. Outside of being a mom. Hey, Sarita, outside of being a mama, outside of being a wife, outside of being a daughter, outside of being whatever your role is. You don't have to just be in that role. It's very important that you see outside of yourself and say, okay, what is it that I'm really here to do? And then focus on that. Chase it like you chasing men, or chasing that high you getting on that drug, or chasing that drunkenness that you get when you drinking that beer, or whatever that you're drinking, or whatever you're chasing. Chase your pursuit of contentment. Because listen, when you are truly content, nobody can shatter your spirit. No one can blow out your flame. Remember, shine on loving oneself is a flame. It's a flame inside of you. Hey, Damien. It's a flame inside of you. No one can burn this flame out at all, period. When you're content, when you're truly content inside with what you have inside you, you knowing your, better yet, you know your worth. You know your value. So when you know your worth and your value, can't nobody really touch you. You're like, I'm cool. I'm good. Whether you're here or not. And I love a lot of people. But at the end of the day, if they're here or not, I still love me. I can't let that be shattered. Period. I don't care who it is. Is that selfish? Yes. To a degree, yes. But that's the selfish that you want to have in order to self-love. See, we've been taught that selfishness is wrong, and it's not. It's when you deplete yourself that is wrong. It's wrong to deplete self to make everybody else happy. You know how many people are in marriages miserable? For real. They're miserable. And then and a lot of people are chasing relationships because they think if I get a relationship, I won't be miserable. That's not true. Ask some of the married people I talk to on a reg. They tell me how miserable they are. They're not happy because an outside person can't make you happy. My dad used to tell me, and I laugh about it now. Love my dad to death. He used to tell me, oh, so you think a man can make you happy? And I would look all glassy-eyed at him, like I didn't want to admit it. But yeah, I thought a man could make me happy. He said, tell a man to stand there and make you happy. And I thought to myself, I can't. Right. One time my dad told me, buy yourself what you want. Because nobody knows truly what you want but you. Those little dimes that dad would give me through the years are freaking gold now. You know, little dimes that you get from your dad, you know, oh, daddy, thank you for the change. I want to get some candy. He was dropping dimes on me when I was little, and I didn't get it till now. They're golden now because everything he said was facts. Nobody else can make me happy but me. Nobody. And when you step out and look at that, you're like, oh, that's true. But outside of happiness, contentment is just as important, if not more important. Because when you're content, it gets to a point where you have every cell in your being is just radiant because it's just so full of life. You can't sleep at night without being excited about tomorrow. You can't. You don't go to sleep lonely. You don't have those moments. There's no loneliness inside your soul. Because even when you have a house full of people, or it's just you, you're full of life. Does that make sense? I mean, really, am I making sense to y'all? Really. When you have a house full of people, or you don't, you're fulfilled. And this is why it's so important. I really want y'all to understand. Contentment is a state of being. Loneliness is a state of mind. Okay? Write that down. Contentment is a state of being. Loneliness is a state of mind. Okay? So what does that mean? Contentment is a state of being. That means it is a part of your being. Your being is fulfilled regardless of what is going on in your life. I don't care if it's something tragic. I don't care if it's something happy. I don't care if it's something sad. I don't care if it's something significant. Whatever is going on in your life, your state of being is fulfilled. It's excited. It's full. It's like you have a full tank of gas and it never runs out. That's what that means. But when you're lonely, that's a state of mind. Okay? What that means is that's a state of how you feel at the moment. You're feeling lonely because of a lack of something. You can't be lonely and truly, truly content. You can't. They don't go together. You can't find me somebody that's content and lonely, and I'll tell you that's not accurate. You cannot be both. So if you're lonely, there's something inside of your soul that's telling you you're not moving in your purpose. There's something lacking there. You're not getting something done that you're supposed to be doing. Because you can be in a full-blown, beautiful, head-on relationship. I'm talking about fully healthy, beautiful relationship and still be lonely. You can also be in a full-on, single, by yourself relationship and be completely and totally content and not lonely. See what I'm saying? So when you have that understanding, you'll see what I mean by it's a state of being. Contentment is when you are truly fulfilled. And in that fulfillment, it means that you have awakened your gifts, number one, and you know your purpose. You know why you're on the planet, and you know what you're here to do, and you're in pursuit of that. Okay? So when you're in pursuit of your purpose and in pursuit of your goals, and you have something that you're doing that's really exciting your soul, guess what? There is no reason for loneliness because you're busy. I can't be lonely, man. I can't. I'm constantly busy doing stuff on my passions, on my purpose, on my desires, on what I'm destined to do, which is to heal the planet. I already know what my purpose is. I'm not worried about that. I'm really not. Because in my manifestation of that, I'm bringing people with me that really want to grow. And they know who they are. The real people that want to manifest something, you get with me now, I'm going to make sure you're unstoppable. And that's my goal, period. I love all my people that really want to do something to change the planet. And those people they outshine people. Because I know they call me. They inbox me. They text me. They do the work. Hey, Carla, what's the next course? They calling me to find out what the next course is. Like, you want to do more work? I'm just giving you stuff. Yes. Give me your next course. I'm ready. I already did course 1 and course 2. I wanted the next one. Like, dang, you got me working overtime. You see what I'm saying? So people that are on their purpose and on their plan, they truly, truly are devoted to looking at what they are here to do. Let me tell you something else. And I think this is very important about self-loving. A lot of times we talk about God, right? And we've often through the years believed God was over the clouds. And the spaceships went out there and showed us that there's no God out there. And we've looked everywhere for God. We've looked tirelessly trying to find Jesus's, his grave. We look in everywhere for him. And the funny thing is, God's inside you. In you. You know those days when you're like, oh, I keep having this constant push of me doing something and I just don't want to do it because I'd rather, I really don't want to do that right now. I don't really want to do this. I don't really want to do that. But it's a calling on your life. You people, you know who I'm talking to. You know those of you that have a calling on your life and you really don't want to do it because you know it's going to take work and time that you don't have, or at least you claim you don't have. But when you sit down and really look at it, it's like, hold on a minute. God keeps calling me and keeps asking me to do something. And I keep not answering the call. I just don't want to answer. I'd rather live this life this way. But let me tell you something about living life that way. Your greatness won't happen until you get uncomfortable. Drink to that. Your greatness will not happen until you get uncomfortable. Oh, so what does that mean, right? You got to do some things you've never done before. You got to get uncomfortable. Real talk. Manifestors, y'all know who y'all are. That's something I want y'all to think about. Get uncomfortable. Do something completely and totally something you've never done before. Nothing. I mean, something that you've never done before. And the reason why I say to do something you've never done before is because when you do something that is very difficult to do, it causes you to humble yourself. It causes you to say, ooh, I love it. I've never done this before. I don't know if I'm good at this. And guess what it does for you? When you do something you're not good at, you start to become what? A student and a seeker. See, let me tell you something about gurus. And I have a lot of those spiritual leaders in my life. I got several of them that I go to on a regular. And Ayana knows because she's one of my students and definitely one of my manifestors. She knows because she reached out to me to ask me who my spiritual leaders were. But there's certain spiritual leaders I go to and I'll say, hey, look, I got something on my heart and mind, man, and I don't know what direction I should go. And some of my spiritual leaders will be very specific with me. Do this, 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 and this. And they'll give me a list. Other spiritual leaders are colorful. So they're going to give me like doses of rainbow. What does that mean? So doses of rainbow colors. So they're not going to give it to me all in English. They're going to say, well, what signs have you noticed by nature recently? Well, now that you mention it, I do kind of notice that I'm seeing a lot of butterflies. Or I happen to be on my back porch and a hummingbird just appeared. Or, this kind of animal's kind of been lurking around me or something like that. Unique. Or I had a vision and I saw sunlight and sun rays. I want you to get some amber. Sleep with it. Put it on your skin. You need amber in your life. So just like that, for instances. So with my spiritual leaders, I have different kind of spiritual leaders that help to guide me. And so I'm a seeker. Being a seeker and a student helps me to do what? To teach and help you. But I cannot help you if you're not seeking. I'm constantly seeking. I'm always seeking to find what direction I need to go. I go to people about education. I go to people about spirituality. I go to people about, topics I want to address. And so I go to different people for different things. But all of them are loaded with knowledge. All of them loaded with knowledge. And so because of that, I'm able to I allow them to pour into me, and then I regurgitate and pour into you. So the joy of that is I'm able to gift you with what you need, see. But seekers know we're far and few between. Because most people just walking around, like I told you, in a daze. Until somebody really shakes your soul up and makes you look at you and makes you say, well, oh, that's self-loving? Yes. A lot of times we don't know what self-love looks like. Because like I said, when we were little, we were told to share and told to be nice. So when we're told to share and be nice, we lose sense of self, of what is accountable for what we are supposed to do for ourselves. We're not told to keep some of those things for you. Make sure you are instilling in your children how important it is to do for themselves. See, and real team leaders, management positions, CEOs, entrepreneurs, people of that caliber know about taking care of self. That's how they raise the bar to get to where they want to be. This is how they create wealth, because a lot of people will criticize them for trying to attain wealth, but that's the way to ensure your seed and your next following generations will have. Okay? Something else that we don't think about. Of course we don't, because we would rather be critical of those seeking wealth. But in order to understand this, when you become your supreme self, you get a monetary value for that, whatever that monetary value is. But that also goes based upon grace and God's gifting to you. Period. But again, I can't give y'all that unless y'all are willing to do spiritual work. Again, this is why I tell y'all all the time, you have to be in order. I don't do anything without having spiritual order first. I ask God first to give me blessing. Am I doing this in spiritual order? Am I being guided by you? Do you want me to do this? I won't do nothing without the grace of God first. But I can't help y'all to see that until you guys are humbling yourselves and seeking to find out what it is I need to do to make sure I can ensure I get the same grace and blessings. See, self-loving is cute to talk about, right? It's cute. Oh, it's cute. We love ourselves. Yes, girl, we're going out and we're doing this and doing that. And we're having fun and we're taking selfies and all this, and that don't mean nothing if you're not doing the true acts of self-love. True acts of self-love is making sure you're awakening the gift in you or the gifts. Because a lot of times we're multi-talented and don't even know it. We got a lot of stuff. See, when we're born, we are gifted a gift by being on the planet, just by being graced by God. We have a gift, one at least. But when we start to seek and find what our purpose is, guess what happens? We start finding out, ooh, not only am I good at this, but I'm good at this, I'm good at this, my God, I'm good at a lot of stuff. And we start to do what? We start to build our self-confidence. When you build your self-confidence, you start to radiate a certain magnetism. In the magnetism is energy. Energy precedes action. So energy is what the magnet is to other people that also have the same desire, the same equipment of actually building their gifts. And when you have that, you're able to draw to each other and exchange certain things. A lot of people that I coach have became attracted to the videos. Not because of me, but because of their energy, their frequency they're on. They're already seeking to find something. And they happen to scroll and they see my video. That's what I was looking for. And then we exchange numbers, exchange information. I tell them what I have to gift them. They are willing to do the work. And then, the sky's the limit for them. Because they just keep growing and growing and growing. I'm like, man, y'all killing the game. And that's why I'm here. I am a wisdom coach, yes. But I also want to gift you guys something that you can use right now to improve your loving of self. Shining on loving yourself is not easy to do, especially because we really don't have a book on that. We know how to love everybody else. We got all kinds of books out here for parenting, all kinds of books out here for dog loving, dog training. We got all kinds of books out here for what's the other thing? Relationships, parenting, love relationships. I mean, all of that. How many times do people really want to run out and get a book for self-loving? I could write it, but why? Why should I? Who who's going to buy the book? I mean, really, who's going to buy my self-loving book? Now, if I write about great sexing, I'll get plenty of people to buy that. But if I'm telling you guys how to do the greatest acts of self-love, it's going to take virality to get people to really love that. And it would have to be a unique virality, because most people aren't interested in loving of self, because a lot of people have given up on themselves. Did you hear what I said? They give up on themselves. That's why I haven't went viral yet. I don't care about the virality. I'm just telling you why. Because people have given up. Like, I'm too old now. I don't know. I don't think I can do it. I'm not handsome enough. I'm not pretty enough. I don't have enough time. And we chip away at all the desire we could use. Well, the reason, Damien, people don't buy books on self-love because they've given up on self. A lot of times it doesn't have the same flair that it has when you're talking about great sex. See the difference, how it feels? When I'm talking about great sex, or how to improve your sex life, or how to improve that, I'll get people on here all day. If I would have put in the topic line that I'm talking about sex, my timeline right now, I have easily 69 people watching this video. Easy. By the time I opened it up. But when you're talking about loving of self, it's just not as meaty and juicy. You see what I'm saying? So people don't really find that attractive. You know what I mean? If I'm talking about loving on you and all this, people are like, I'll just scroll on past that. That's not something I'm interested in. But manifestors do. Manifestors are curious about, how do I love myself? Because a true manifestor knows, I got to have that down pat by the time I start making moves. Because there's going to be a lot of people up against me growing. And if you guys watch my video on Sunday, you'll know what I'm talking about. Because people that are seeing you growing are going to be like, I don't know about her growing. You know, I can't have her in my limitation that I like her in. So because she's growing, she might outgrow me. And then I'm going to lose. Not that you're going to lose. You're just not going to be the same relationship-wise. And then that could cause the relationship to lose its flair or fizzle a bit. But that's no reason to want somebody to stop growing. But a lot of people do. So, you know, self-loving isn't fun. Like Ayana said, it's a lot of fear. People don't want to learn about self-love, and people fear it a lot. They do. They fear it a lot. And so, you know, it's important that we understand that just having contentment of being you. Just loving, you know, and a lot of times I think, unfortunately for women, you know, in this society especially, women are constantly critiqued by how they look. Their physical beauty, their physiques, you know, and things of that nature, you know, how pretty their hair, just all the physical. That doesn't mean shit, but all the physical, women are constantly critiqued by. So for women, it's harder for us, not to say it's not hard for men, but it's harder for us to say we're self-loving without going straight to the physical. We'll say that all the time, like, well, I'm really trying to love these stretch marks, or I'm looking in the mirror every day naked and I'm trying not to find my flaws. And it's like, honey, did you have a kid? Well, yeah, but, you know, it's like, well, at the end of the day, your body's not going to be the same it was before, unless you're like a Beyonce and you got trainers and all that. But still, you're still going to have a difference of what your body was before you had a child. It's just what it is. But because the society, or really truly the world, really has a tendency to be harder on a woman's body, physique, looks, and all those things. And so a lot of times women are truly, truly hard on themselves and see themselves, if I'm loving what I look like, then I'm loving myself. No. That has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with how you're loving yourself. If I love how I look, if I love what I wear, if I love what I wear, how I look, and have my hair that I want it to be, this looking, I mean, just all kinds of things outside of herself, it makes it easier, or it makes a woman think she's truly loving herself. But a lot of times it has nothing to do with that. Everything against what a woman should be doing is worrying about what she looks like, but worrying more about how she can become the better version of herself. See, I say all the time that it is important to be truly ascending into your supreme being. We don't really think about that. Truly working to ascending to be who you are in your supreme self. But a lot of times we don't want to see that because we're concerned about, oh my God, I thought I was supposed to, look a certain way. But let me tell you something, Damien, and this is for you. Steve Harvey talks a lot about his different versions of himself and how he's come a long way physically, how he looks. He didn't get any cosmetic surgery or anything like that, but he just talks about physically how he looks. He talks about how he used to stutter. I mean, just a lot of things physically he went through. And that man has transcended and made such a change of himself by just making fun of himself without being hard on himself or taking it to heart. Allowing his own personal critique to still uplift him into his supreme self. So if you notice, the wife he has now, many people would say, oh, she's so physically beautiful. Yes, but outside of that, some would critique, well, how did Steve pull her? He's not even that attractive or whatever. But if you sit down and you really look at people and you start to really realize that this is just a shell. The physical, it's just a shell. Your soul is really what matters. But we spend a lot of time on the physical part. But I tell people, and even when I get, compliments from gentlemen or even women, like, oh, you're beautiful. It's like, I had nothing to do with this. But I have everything to do with what's on the inside. Everything. I worked hard for it. Diligently. So I didn't want people attracted to this. I want people attracted to my heart, to my soul, and to my works. What am I doing to help the planet? What am I doing to help others? What am I doing to inspire? Because for me, it's not about my looks. I don't care about them. I care more about who am I inspiring? Who's going to get this lesson? Who's going to do the work? Who's going to make what I do and turn it and transform it into their own work and then just blow it out the water? Who's going to do that? Who's going to be the next one? Because to me, that's what I care about. But I think that we have been sold on thinking that our physical beauty is what's going to pretty much, determine what we're going to attain as far as wealth, as far as notoriety. But perfect prime example, the young girl that played Precious, on Oprah's movie, everybody would have thought, I can't think of her name right now, but everybody would have thought, oh my God, was it Gabrielle? If anybody remembers her name, please type it, because I'm terrible at names. I thought it was something. But anyway, she's awesome. Phenomenal actress. Because when she played Precious, you fall into a love for her and her spirit. And at the time, back then, dark-skinned, heavy-set young girls were constantly taunted or made fun of and things of that nature. And she just took that and changed that stigma. And she ended up getting all types of awards for the Precious movie because of Oprah. So it's not, like I say, it's not about the looks. It's about what you have on the inside that matters. But we're not taught that because we're taught to love ourselves based upon how we treat other people. And that's really not how you're supposed to love yourself. You're supposed to love yourself from the inside out. And so what that means is go inside you and see, what is it I need to do to make me feel so much joy? Notice I didn't say pleasure. I'm going to give y'all another nugget that I didn't know I was going to touch on tonight. But pleasure. Boy, doesn't pleasure get us in a lot of mess. Pleasure gets us in a lot of mess, man. And I think that's one of the hardest parts about me saying that contentment is important, because a lot of times I think we misconstrue contentment to mean pleasure. And it's not. You know, just because something feels good doesn't mean it is good. So that goes down to friendships. That goes into how we're parenting. Because sometimes we parent way too soft on these babies, and then these babies have no discipline. So then our kids are acting a fool out here, and we're confused. Like, why is my baby acting so bad? Now your baby's 19 and stealing cars or selling drugs or shooting, and you're trying to figure out, well, what happened? Gabriel, yes, thank you, love, thank you, loved her. She is a powerful young woman. But we're confused as to why is it, you know, my baby that I took good care of, why is he or she not being a model student or not being a model person in society? And you have to sit back and look at that and say, well, what kind of discipline were you given? Well, I didn't want to be mean, or I didn't want to fuss, or I didn't want to holler, and I just asked my kids for their choice. And, you know, it's like, you can't raise a kid that way and expect them to be decent. I mean, you gotta put your foot down. You gotta be a parent of discipline. There's gotta be discipline in a home. You can't do that and then expect your kid to be okay. But I don't want to hurt my kids' feelings. That you want to be pleasure. You want to have a pleasure parenting style. It's not going to work. Your kid's going to either end up dead or in a prison. Period. There's no way you can still have a pleasurable relationship with your kid during their teenage years when they're confused as to if they're coming or going. You have to have set standards and rules, and they have to abide by them, and they have to respect authority. All of these things have to be into place, or you send your kid out in the real world. They don't care if your kid is your baby or not. They will eat that child alive. And you can't just sleep with every man or woman that makes you feel good. Those people could be vultures. They can be giving you all kinds of diseases. They can be passing you all kinds of demons in your soul. You don't know what you're messing with. But they feel good though. We can't base everything on pleasure. That's our problem. Well, I go out with those group of girls, even though I know they have all kinds of drama at the end of the night, but they feel good. I have fun. We laugh, we talk, we joke, but those girls are worthless. You're going to end up fighting them. You're going to end up being like what was her name? Snooki, when Snooki was horrible. You're going to be in a Snooki situation with your bra and panties all hanging off your ass, and then you're underneath a toilet somewhere, fooling with this group of girls because they feel good, because you having a good time. No, change your taste. So contentment doesn't equate pleasure. It doesn't. There's going to be times when you content, but it don't feel good. Feel what I'm saying? Not going to feel good. Everything don't feel good, man. You're not going to get that. And so unfortunately, contentment doesn't mean it's going to always be, oh, I feel so good. No. Contentment's going to be times where you're going to be like, I'm achy. I'm hurting. I'm in my purpose, but damn, I'm not getting no money in. I'm in my purpose, but damn, there's no man in my bed every night because I'm on my purpose. No man's going to understand this. I'm talking to gorgeous hot men at 2, 3 in the morning on the phone trying to help heal him. No grown-ass man is going to let this happen and not have an issue with it. I can't have a man in my bed every night. It'll be a problem. Facts. So is contentment always joyful and pleasurable? Hell no. There's nights I'm like, damn, I took this call, but damn, sometimes it's uncomfortable. Yes. But it's going to be joy in the morning, though. So again, contentment doesn't always feel good, honeys. So if you ain't ready to not feel good, then contentment ain't for you. But if you're wanting to figure out how to do it, then you've got to start doing the work. And number one thing you got to do is take my course, Awaken Your Gifts. That's the number one course you got to take. Period, point blank. If you really want to learn about how to get more content with your life, really want to learn about how you can heal yourself, you got to first awaken your gifts. Number one thing you got to do. Period. And again, it doesn't feel good. Awakening your gifts doesn't feel good because you got to sit down and really evaluate you. Well, damn, what am I good at? And why did I wait so long to really sit down and do this? What was I doing? When I did this shit, I was like over 38. I was easy over 38 years old. And I'm like, why the hell did I wait this long? What was I doing? Then I look back and say, oh, all them fine men I was chasing. Oh, I was focused on being mommy. And, okay, that's your story. But now, are you going to get busy or no? As my daughter would say. You going to get busy or not? Are you going to get serious? You want a commitment with a man? Are you going to commit to this work? I'm just telling you. These are facts, honey. I mean, it doesn't feel good. Like I said, it doesn't feel good. It's not about the pleasure. It's about the work. It's about the devotion to yourself. It's about the commitment. It's about the time where you sit back and say, damn, I don't have every freaking thing I want. Oh, I don't have everything I want. No. But I'm still content. Matter of fact, I had to change how I was shopping. I would shop till I dropped. You know why I was shopping? To kill the lonely, man. You guys think I'm talking about this stuff and I ain't done none of that? You think I'm not? I mean, come on. Yeah, Yana. I mean, seriously. I was shopping till I dropped. Love to shop. And at the time, I didn't realize it. It was just a pacifier. My shopping was pacifying me from facing the fact that I'm ignoring my devotion that I need to be doing. So I need to get busy, right? Didn't realize how important it was. Yeah, it was my therapy. It was my joy. It was my, I'm having fun. I really want to do this for me. No. Unacceptable. So I had to get uncomfortable and stop shopping. I had to get uncomfortable and stop watching TV. Whew, that was a hard one. Because I liked my own channel. I used to love Oprah and OWN and all that stuff. Cut it. And I didn't cut it because of any other reason but to get all the distraction from the media out of my head. I had to get content with and enjoying with what I had rather than chasing that shopping desire. Just shopping just to be shopping. I mean, for what? I love you too, son. Good night. 6:30. I will wake you up. I love you. You have your clothes out for tomorrow? Get your clothes out. And don't forget to get your supplies and put them by the door. Your supplies are in the living room. Okay. Okay, close my door, babe. I love you too. So, you sit back and you look at it, you're like, man, I was spending so much time on shopping and just the most, man. The most. And so now when I sit back and think about it, I said, it's not really about shopping that I didn't realize I had to, really God had to take that from me because it was a big taste in my mouth to want to truly keep feeding the beast of wanting to just shop and shop and shop. And it was really kind of to, like I said, dial down the lonely. And then I just had to get, I got to get into my purpose. I got to figure out why I'm here. And, and now, you know, you see what I'm doing now. And it's not work. It's just, it's something I have to do because I'm inspired to do it spiritually. And I know that it has to be done. But you have to really, truly sit down and pay attention to what it is you desire to do, what it is you desire to have in your soul, and then what it is you're willing to commit to. You know, you don't want to tell God you will commit to something and you don't. You don't want to do that. So make sure what it is you desire to do and desire to hope for and pray for, and you really want to get in alignment. You want God to say, okay, what is it that you need to do? And do it. And then find yourself excited about it. And truly learn contentment is a state of being. You don't have to have anybody else in your life. You don't have to swarm yourself with cats, ladies, after you no longer have a mate or whatever. You don't have to get a bunch of cats in your house to feel fulfilled. You don't have to have a bunch of girlfriends to try to feel better. You don't have to have any of that because you are fulfilled enough in your being, in your soul, because your soul is supreme now. And once you get to that supreme state, it's all pretty much good. I mean, and you can now live life to the fullest, and that's what you want. So again, if you guys need a coach, don't hesitate to that's fine, babe. Don't hesitate to go on my coaching page. It's called Carla Nicole Wisdom Coaching Services. Go over there and just ask for an initial consultation, and we can talk and vibe and see if I can help you with really getting started on your path to your new invention, because that's important. Just going on a better path is really key to this life. You don't want to live a life of humdrum or live a life of scarcity or live a life of pain when you can just transform that just by changing your state of mind and improving your state of being. That's key. So, and then again, take my course. It's very important. Take my course, Awaken Your Gifts. There are a couple people on here that has taken the course. They can tell you how it's changed their life, how it helps them. And I think, Ayana, if you can grab the link and put it in here. Listen, the course is pay what you want. So you can pay $0 or you can pay up to $25 to take the course. But the course is important for you to take to start to spark your flame. See, we're all a flame. Just some of us are burning brighter than others. Some of us are burning pretty deep, pretty, not just deep, but we're burning pretty dim. I'll put it that way. We're not burning how we should be. And so because of that, we're only burning at a very minimal amount. See, and like Damien, he just took the course, which is, I'm humbled because I know how he and I had our first mentorship session yesterday, and he's already completed his session. His whole course already. So this is another seeker. See, people that really seek to find some peace in their life can get it done. There's no excuse. There's none. There's no excuse. If you really want to change your life, you can. It just takes a minute to really have somebody just to light that flame. And I'm usually the one with the lighter. I have Ayana on here who just keeps pouring gasoline on my... She keeps pouring gasoline on my flame. Just keeps lighting it up. But again, it's somebody that truly wants to have just a different contentment in life. Because I'm telling you, there's nothing else out here. When you start to do your spiritual practices and start to get a spiritual taste in your mouth of how great it feels, it's a whole different awakening your gifts, babe. Please, thank you. When you start to get that new taste of life, it is unbelievable how much joy you get, because you start to see, oh my God, I have really not done some things I could have done. And we all have done it. I know there's been things that I had a taste to do but didn't because I had kids and all kinds of stuff. So I just didn't do it. But again, we're taught to be nice, and we're taught to, take care of others. So because of that, that's how we were raised. That's how we were taught. We were taught to make sure we just take care of other people and be nice and play nice. And because of that, it really stifled a lot of us, because we spent a lot of, I know for me, I spent a lot of years people pleasing, especially in my relationships. What can I do to please you, babe? I'll do anything for you, honey. Whatever you want, honey. I love you. I'll do anything for you. And chipping away at my own desires and needs. And see, when you do that, you find yourself like, damn, I'm between a rock and a hard place, because I ended up sacrificing self instead of just making sure I was good. But again, there's nobody really telling us about what the different acts of self-love is. So we're not really sure. We just do what we can, but we're not really confident of knowing what it is we have to do. Right? So anyway, guys, I'm going to let you guys go. I know I've had you on here for a while. But do remember, contentment is a state of being. Okay? It's not about pleasure. You got to wipe pleasure desires out of your head, because pleasure is what gets us in most trouble. When we focus on pleasure, we spend more time focusing on that, and we get tunnel vision, and we lose sight of what's really truly most important in our life, because pleasure is what drives us, right? So we have to stay focused on what is it we truly need to make sure we don't waver our sense of self-worth and value by focusing merely on pleasure, on what feels good. Okay? So don't focus on what feels good, focus on what is good. And sometimes it's just, man, it might feel a little awkward at first. It may not feel all that, wonderful. Like we like everything to taste good, right? We don't ever want to taste something nasty. How many times do you see people say, well, give me something that don't taste good? Everybody wants to taste something good. Very seldom do we want to taste something that doesn't taste good. But what usually helps us is the stuff that don't taste good, right? The stuff that is not tasty is the stuff that helps our bodies. You get some straight herbs. Those do not taste good. But man, they will heal your body. You don't feel good. You got sinus infection, all that. You're taking medicine, it doesn't taste good, but it heals the body, right? So that's the same with life, period. Everything that feels good is not good. I'm just telling you. I know it's not something you want to hear. And I know that I have to do these self-love acts because they're not something that's always ran to. There's stuff this is stuff that you have to do in order to make sure your self-love is in alignment. Because self-loving ain't taught out here. Not to my degree of liking. I want you guys to be able to get off these lives and say, "Oh, I'm going to do that. I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to start chasing my contentment rather than chasing pleasure." Because when you chase contentment, it's not going to be about what tastes good. It's going to be about what is good. And also, what maybe doesn't taste that great, might taste a little bitter, maybe not good to the taste, but in the long run, it's going to heal the body, soul, heart, mind. Make sure you share this video. Also tag your friends. Tag friends that you know are constantly running to pleasure. You always know. Those certain friends, they love to chase them damn pleasurable things. They're chasing clothes. They're chasing after the greatest sex. They're chasing after this. They're chasing after that. And every time you come back with this horror story, like, why are you chasing after that? You know it's not going to work for you. I know, but it was really good. And oh my God. Okay, but you know damn well it's not good for you. Why do you keep doing it? I can't help it. No, you can. You just decide that you won't do it. There's a difference. Tag your friends, those friends. They need to hear this video, trust me. And share this video. I want all of you to have a good night. And before I let you go, always remember, you are a flame You're a flame. Get lit and stay lit. This is Carla Nicole. I'm signing off. Best kept. Have a great night, guys. Bye.